All right, stage three. So this week on Monday and Tuesday, we've been looking at factors and multiples. So what is the difference between factors and multiples? Because I know this is something that we can get a little bit confused between. So just a bit of a recap. When we are looking at factors, you are looking at two numbers that you can times together in order to get a certain product. So for example, my product is 12. If I'm looking for factors of 12, I would have 2 and 6 because 2 times 6 gives me 12. If I'm looking at multiples, I'm looking at counting up by that number. So for example, if I'm looking at multiples of 2, I would be saying 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 because I'm counting up by that number in increments. So today I've got a little crack the code little quiz thing for you guys. So I'm going to demonstrate on my screen here exactly how I want you guys to fill it out on the next slides because I've done 2 of them. So I know that we've already listed factors of 32 in previous lessons, but I thought it would be a good one to do seeing as you've already done it. So I don't want you to do it on the actual activity. So if I'm looking at the factors of 32, all right, I'm going to list them in the box next to it. So I've got 1, and make sure as you're doing it, you separate them by a comma. So you're going to put a comma in between. 1 times 32, because you can always have 1 and itself. The next 2 factors for 32 are going to be 2 and 16. 5 times 2 by 16, I get 32. All right, the next 2 factors are going to be 4 and 8, because 4 times 8 give me 32. Now I'm going to double check to say that I have any missing, because I know in my last few lessons I've accidentally missed some. So I've got all my factors of 32 there. All right, they're not in order from ascending to descending, but that's okay. We're just going to leave them like that. And I'm going to have the first 8 multiples of 5. Thinking about it, first 8 multiples of 5. So I'm going to be counting up by 5. So I'm going to start at 5 and I'm going to separate them by a comma. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. How many have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's asking me for 8 multiples. So I need one more. And I've got 40. All right, now I've got my first 8 multiples of 5. All right, so I'm going to scroll down. Now I'm looking at what I have for my factors of 12. What I always say, 1 in itself gives you the first 2 factors. Then I'm going to have 2 times 6. And then my last one is going to be 3 and 4. It's really important you separate them with commas, otherwise we'll have one big number there, which will be in the millions, and we don't want that because we'll get a bit confused. All right, now we're going to go down here and we're jumping between factors and multiples, so it's really important that you remember the difference. So multiples of 3. All right, so that means we're going to count up by 3. So I'm going to start at 3. So I go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. How many have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. And it's going to be 18. All right, now I've got my little grid all filled in like this. And down the bottom, let's jump onto the next page now, it's going to have 4 squares like this. And each one of these squares is going to have a number in it, which is going to break the code. Okay, so you need to look at each of these boxes, and in the order, you're going to write the largest number from each box to crack the code. So for example, in this top one here, 32 is my largest number. So I'm going to scroll back down. In my first code breaker, I'm going to put 32. Scroll back up. What is the largest number or answer I have in this, in my multiples of 5? Let me have a look. That one's in order, so it's easy for me to tell, and I can see that it's going to be 40. So I'm going to scroll back down. 40 is my next part of my code. If I look up here, what factors of 12? Once again, it's not in order, so I need to look what is the largest of this answer, and I've got 12. Okay, I've got 3 parts of my code already. And then in the last part of my answer, it's going to be what is the largest answer out of this, and I've got 18. So my code is going to be 32401218. That will be the answer to the code for that question, okay? So when you click to the next 2 slides, you're going to have similar questions, although you'll be finding different factors and multiples of different numbers, so you need to read carefully. And then when you get to cracking the code at each one, Your job is to use the biggest number from each one and pop it in order down here. Then the following day, I will put the answers up to see if you got both of the codes correct. All right, good luck, guys.